Hey, what's going on, guys? This is E from the Easy Entrepreneur YouTube channel. And I flip diabetic supplies full time. All right. And so this video is about knowing your buyers and knowing your buyers' price sheets, right? So what I mean by knowing your buyers is that, we got about 10 to 20 different buyers. Now, all of the buyers have certain criterias and things and, way they do business and what they're buying, what they're not buying, stuff like that. So when you get your buyers list, when you get your buyers, you want to look at each buyer's price sheet, right? On their price sheet will be their guidelines as far as how do they pay, um, you know, what they take as far as condition and their contact information. Then as far as their prices, they'll have all the supplies that they buy and their prices. Now, every buyer in the business, they're all pretty much buying the same stuff, right? Some buyers are buying some stuff that other buyers are not. But for the most part, they're all buying the same stuff. And then as far as pricing, they're usually in the same range, right? Some stuff that they buy might be a little bit, it may be at the most 50 bucks more, right? For the most part, it's never really too much off. The buyers are usually in the same ballpark because they need to compete with the other buyers in the game. So for example, if you're seeing a supply and you're like, yeah, my buyer was paying, $300-400 for this particular supply, but the other buyers are paying $100 now. There's probably an issue with that. The problem is probably you don't have that buyer's updated price sheet because that buyer's probably not paying that much for that supply. If all the other buyers are paying, $100 and this buyer was paying $400 the last time you checked. The last time you checked was probably last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Maybe you just don't have their updated price sheet, but because the buyers all stay within the same range. Now, when you're working with the buyers, you want to look all across everyone's price sheet. So you know your supply you have. Now you want to look at all your buyers' price sheets and look for each supply, look for that supply on each buyer's price sheet. Sometimes the buyers name the supplies a little bit differently than what you're used to seeing, but majority of the time it's still the same supply. So, you can go to Google and look and match that supply up that you have or that you're gonna buy, match it up with the name that the buyer is saying, and try to kind of confirm if this is the right one. Sometimes you can hit the buyers up. Now all the buyers want to be contacted. Some of them is cool with it. That's something that you just have to gauge, right? You have to hit the buyers up and see how they respond to you. Usually there's some buyers who are just really cool. They'll talk to everybody. There's some buyers who just don't want to be bothered, whatever. You know what I mean? They just feel like, okay, you're in the business now. You need to figure it out. But you won't know if you don't contact them. If you don't contact them on all different forms of communication also. But you need to know when you go through all your buyers, you'll start to get an idea of, the buyer's pricing. Sometimes there's buyers who they just don't pay a lot for stuff. Well, not a lot, I wouldn't say that, but they're just not usually paying the highest price out of all the other buyers. And then sometimes there is. But you'll get an understanding of that as you're going through these sheets over the next few days. And you're matching up the supply with what the supply says on the buyer's price sheet, and you're doing that all across the board. You'll start to see a trend. So then that will tell you like, okay, I'm gonna only deal with these 3 or 4 buyers, right? And now if you come across a supply that maybe a buyer you never really sell to, he's paying the most for it, then you can go and sell to him. You know what I mean? That one particular supply. In this business, you don't have to work with one buyer. I always see a lot of people feeling like they're being loyal because they're selling to this particular buyer. The buyer does not care if you're being loyal to them. I mean, I guess they do, but not really, right? Because they understand that their prices might not be the best. There's someone else might be selling for a better price, and they can't be mad at you for that, right? You need to make a living. You need to make your money. So don't confine yourself to one buyer. You should be selling to all the buyers, right? Based on what works for you, not what works for them, what works for you, right? So I talk to a lot of people who tell me they're just selling to this one guy, this one guy, this one guy. You need to be, you need to look at all the buyers and look at all their prices, and whatever works best for you, that's what you should be working with, right? Um, but for the most part, working with buyers is pretty easy. You just guys gotta understand. You gotta look at your price sheets. You know what I mean? You got to look at your price sheets, constantly look at your price sheets, have them ready, maybe print them out or have them on your phone ready to look. When you're making offers to sellers, we're not making offers at the top of our heads. We're looking and making sure to see how much a certain buyer is paying, then we'll make our offer. I make offers on supplies that I already know what the price is, and I just will double check just to make sure. You know what I mean? So I just not just blindly throwing offers out there based on some information that I thought I knew. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go and look at my buyer's price sheet because there might be a change, right? Or there's something I might have overlooked. You always want to double check. You know what I mean? So yeah, you guys don't have to work with one buyer, work with multiple buyers. Do what's best for you. Know your price sheets. Some people get into this business and they don't even take the time to look at the price sheets. And, you know, with me in my course, you know, I let people hit me up and ask me certain questions or ask me questions and stuff like that. But sometimes some people will not even try and they'll just continue to keep asking me how much this supply is or this, that, and the third when, you know, the price sheets and everything is right there for you guys. And you guys should be trying, at least trying, because business is so simple. That's the only thing you need to do is go and look at your buyer's price sheets. So you guys should be trying and looking at that stuff. And I'm saying this off of experience because when I was in the business in the beginning, I didn't have those type of problems. I actually looked at my buyer's price sheets and looked for the best price. If a seller called me with a particular supply, I'm looking at all my buyer's price sheets until I got to this point where now there's certain buyers that don't even look at their price sheet, right? They may be even paying $3, $4, $5 more than, you know, a particular buyer. But sometimes I just like working with that particular buyer because they make the buying price process easy, or they're always there for me when I have questions, right? Their customer service is great. Sometimes with the buyers in this business, the customer service can be a little weird. The interaction, and it's probably because it's only like 10 to 20 of them. So they're like, why do I need to be, you know, why do I need to be cool or, you know, be nice to anyone? You know what I mean? But in the long run, it's not good because then everyone's going to go to those other buyers who you ask them questions. They're always open to talk to you and give you advice, and they're always nice and stuff like that. So obviously being nice and all that stuff goes a long way. So I don't understand why, you know, as far as the buyers in this business, why they do stuff like that. But I think it has a lot to do with there's not much competition for them. So there's like, why do they need to save face, right? But I mean, I wouldn't let that deter you from doing the business or anything. But you know, people in the business know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? In regardless if the buyer is not nice or whatever, it's not like he's being mean to you, right? It's just you'll see the difference between the responses when it comes to certain buyers and the other buyers. When it comes to asking questions or needing help, some buyers are just like whatever, don't want to talk. Some buyers are like, oh yeah, okay, do this, do that, da da da. You know what I mean? They're cool like that. But yeah, guys, you know I got a course mentorship. You know, link it below. Book a call with me. Stuff like that. Hold you by the hand. You know, get your business up and running. You know, show you how to scale your business. You know, stuff like that. All right, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.